All right, y'all. Well, welcome back. If you don't know me, my name is Jackson. I'm a really big music fan. I love listening to music. I love talking about music. I love discovering new music. And I love hopefully showing y'all some new music that you'll love as well. And this is my second ever YouTube video. This is also the second part in my top 500 songs of all time. I hope that's what you're here for. If you are, I hope you stick around. It's really exciting. I've been having a really good time doing this. But if this is your first time here and you have not seen the first part of this series, I suggest going to check it out just because, one, there's 25 songs there that you will have missed, but also there are some rules and some information about my top 500 list that would be really good to have before coming into this blind. But if that's your thing, if you just want to come on in blind, feel free, come on in. I'm happy to have you here. Also, before we hop into it, I do want to apologize for being a little late here. This is not as quickly as I wanted to put out part 2, but I was on a vacation last week. Me and my wife were up in Colorado. It was super cool. It was super fun. It gave me a lot of time to listen to a lot of new music and albums that had come out. I loved a lot of them. Some of them I didn't. Maybe I'll talk about some of them here in the near future. Who knows? We'll see what I'm feeling. That's besides the point. That's where I was. And then when we got home, our AC was not working. It was 91 degrees here in this apartment, and I did not want to film when I was sweaty and red-faced and had 3 fans blowing on me. That would not have been super fun, so we finally got all that handled. I'm back from vacation, and I have running AC again, thus the way I'm able to wear a hoodie inside right now. So all of that said, sorry for the delay. Hopefully in the future it will not take me nearly this long to make new videos. I hope you're excited as I am for them. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into it. So here come the next 25 songs on my list. We are starting with number 475. So number 475 is Tom Sawyer by Rush. It was released in 1981, and it is one of 2 songs on this list from the band. This song is fantastic. The synth, of course, is unbelievable. The synthesizer work is insane. But really the standout to me, and what should be the standout to you as well, are the drums. Rest in peace, Neil Peart. Man, he was doing some incredible things on the drums. Not only on this song, but on a ton of songs. But this song especially, it is just incredible work. My best friend growing up was a huge Rush fan. I think he's actually going to see them now that they're on tour again. Anyway, the reason Rush is even on this list is because of him. I have not always been a big fan of them. In fact, I would say I've never really been a big fan of them. But he played them so much that there were some songs that I really grew to love, especially 2 of them, one of which is Tom Sawyer. So that is the first song starting our list off today. Next up, number 474, a very different song. That is Sicko Mode by Travis Scott, released in 2018. It is the only song from Travis to make this list. And this song absolutely defined an era for me. It came out towards the end of my high school experience, and I can remember the hype around this album, and especially this song. This song is unbelievable. The intro, and of course the feature from Drake, are just unbelievable. I don't even care for Drake, but the hype surrounding his feature on this song specifically, I can remember it. I can see the people going insane when they heard his voice for the first time, like the streamers and people who are listening to the song. This song is really special. It's also kind of a huge trip. I mean, it's like 2 or 3 songs in one. It's great. I think it's going to go down as one of the best songs from that era, or at the very least, one of the most iconic. Number 473 is Clovers by Valasquez, released in 2023. It is the only song from Molly to make this list. Now, this was not an album or song that was on my radar until a few months ago when it was sent my way. Even though it was released in 23, I had not heard of Molly before, but this album totally blew me away. The production and vocals on this album, and really, I guess more specifically on this song, but on the album as a whole, are unreal. There's some really, really unique sounds and performances on this record that are absolutely worth checking out if you're into like indie and indie folk especially. This is absolutely an album worth checking out for you. But seriously, what gets me here is the production. Her vocals are great. They've got a real country twang to them, especially for indie folk, but they got a real country twang, but the production on this song is immaculate. There's just so much going on. It starts off really kind of stripped down, and the percussion begins to grow and grow and grow and grow. And if you listen to the song at the end versus at the beginning, you'd think it's two different songs, which is something that I love. It is unreal. So in a few years, I would imagine this song will be much higher on this list, but it is still pretty new to me, so that's why it's as low as it is. But this is a super underrated track from a super underrated artist off a super underrated album. I would absolutely give it a listen if that's your vibe. Next up, number 472 is $20 by boygenius, released in 2023 as well. It is the only song from the supergroup. I guess you would call this a supergroup, but I would argue it would be. And look, as much as I do love Phoebe Bridgers and her music, really, really love her music, boygenius just has not yet really hit the spot for me. And that really could be because I just don't care as much for the work of Dacus and Baker. No hate, of course. I don't hate them, but I just don't love it nearly as much as I love Bridgers' work. But this song was a standout on their most recent record for me. I really love the guitar that leads the song, and then the way that the vocals work and the way they kind of go back and forth with their vocals is really enjoyable. Also, the sort of like self-contained story that's being told throughout the track is really nice. It's just not anything that would make it any higher on this list, if that makes sense. This was one of my favorite songs from 2023, and I do still really enjoy listening to it to this day, but I do wish there was more from the band that I love. Number 471 is Smalltown Boy by Bronski Beat, released in 1984. It is the only song from the band on this list. This song is insane. For starters, the vocal performance is ridiculous. I just saw a TikTok probably 2 days ago of them performing this song live, and the guy, I don't know who he is, I don't know what his name is, I'll figure it out maybe and put it in, or maybe I won't, I don't know. But the guy singing this part and hitting that high note that hits at the beginning of the song, that's unbelievable. I would never have guessed that he could just do that, and he can just do that with his voice. It's kind of insane. But aside from the vocal work there at the beginning, the song is a really great, almost eerie synth pop tune. It's got a really strong atmosphere that I would argue is pretty hard to come by, especially for songs of that era that are more upbeat and less intense. But of course, you do find that in New Wave. Regardless, this is a special song. It's a really intense song. I just don't listen to it as much as some of the others, which is why it doesn't end up any higher on this list. Number 470 is Dionysian State by Mild High Club, released in 2021, height of COVID. I definitely remember listening to this song during COVID, and it is one of two songs from the band. And this is what I would sort of describe as like synth jazz. I don't know if there's an official music term for that. I would call it synth jazz, but I really, really enjoy it. It's kind of chill, and it's kind of like weird at times. The vocals are kind of trippy, but it's really enjoyable. There's moments that they just kind of jam and they're kind of relaxing, and that's sort of the jazz part. There's a whole lot of instruments working to create this sort of funky atmosphere, and it's a really enjoyable track. It's one that I think is pretty underrated from the band. Or maybe it's not. Maybe a lot of people love this song. I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it, which is why I say it's underrated. But give it a listen, especially if you're into that sort of kind of almost weird synthy jazz music. It's pretty unique in that regard, but it might be something up your alley. Number 469, The Distance by Cake, released in 1996. It is one of two songs from Cake to make this list. This is Cake's infamous song about a race car driver neglecting his wife and his family. And it's one of many tracks from Cake that my wife actually introduced me to. She really enjoys the band. And honestly, I had just never even dipped my foot into their discography before meeting her. But she loves Cake, and there's a lot of songs she loves from Cake. This is one of the ones that I have come away with. The energy here is insane. The intro, the solo vocal intro is awesome. and the backing vocals that come in throughout the song are really, really enjoyable. And it just goes to show you can really make a song about anything. So number 468 is My Kind of Woman by DeMarco. It was released in 2021, and it is one of 2 songs from DeMarco to make this list. Now, at the time of filming this song is his second most streamed song of all time. I do think there's a really, really, really good reason for that. Now, to be fair, this isn't really an indie artist that I've delved much into. I've just never gotten super into old DeMarco. I know a lot of people are into him, and that's awesome and great. I just have never really gotten into him like that. So that's why there's not as many songs on this list from him, but I do really appreciate this song and his music as a whole that I've heard about how sort of stripped down and easygoing it is. And again, I would group that song into that category. I do think at the end of the day, it's an indie classic. If it's not already, it will be considered one. And I also think it's kind of interesting when you actually sit back and listen to the lyrics that the making of this series has got me doing that. It's got me sitting back and really listening to some of these songs that I've selected. And this one's a little more interesting than maybe I thought. So do that if you haven't. Number 467 is Like or Like by Miniature Tigers, released in 2008. And it is one of 2 songs from the band to make this list. This is a really, really, really catchy tune, but it's also a little bit of an odd one. Like if you listen close enough, well, I don't even think you have to listen closely. Like the last song we were talking about, if you listen closely, it's kind of weird. This one you don't really have to listen closely. It's just weird. It's a little stalky almost. And I think that's probably why it ends up lower than it maybe would. But regardless, there's some really enjoyable elements to this song. The lead guitar here is awesome. So is the drum work that comes in, and the chorus and vocals are super catchy and nice, even if the premise of it is a little strange, but there are stalky songs out there, not just this one. This is probably the only stalky song to make this list though. Anyways, if it's not your thing, that's cool. I get it. Number 466, I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For by U2, released in 1987, and is the only song to make this list from the iconic band that is U2. So if I'm being honest, I really don't care for U2 one bit. I wish I liked them more. I've got a buddy who loves U2, and I think he really tried to get me into them. I've listened to a few of their albums, probably 3 or 4, and they just do not do it for me. I do not care for U2. I wish I did. I think they're iconic for a reason. I just don't care for them. Now, with that said, this is a great song. I think the chorus is great, and it's produced really, really, really well. It was released in the 80s, which I mentioned, but it's got a really 90s feel to its production, so maybe they were a little ahead of their time there, but the guitar especially has a real 90s feel. It's a little reverby, and there's just a really nice atmosphere to this song. So it's a great song. Unfortunately for you U2 fans out there, it is the only U2 track here. Number 465 is Hold Me Now by Thompson Twins, released in 1983. It is the only song from the band to make this list. I do not know any other Thompson Twins songs. If you ask me right now, I would fail. This is the only one I know. But regardless, this song comes off of a goofy looking album cover with a goofy looking band. Apparently they were just goofy all around in hindsight. Obviously I wasn't around for that era, but looking at pictures of them, they looked pretty goofy. But they made a good song here. I do remember getting right into this song right before COVID hit. I remember getting super into it, listening to it a lot in that 2019, early 2020 time period. Number 464 is Mo Bamba by Sheck Wes, released in 2017, and it was first released on SoundCloud. I think maybe it hit the other platforms in 2018. I don't know for a fact, but I know 2017 was when it was first released on SoundCloud, and it got much bigger in 2018, right on time for my senior prom. And it is, I don't know if I mentioned this, but it is the only song from Sheck Wes to make this list. Not a Sheck Wes fan, but regardless, like I said, this song blew up right in time for my senior year and my senior prom, which was huge. You couldn't get away from this song. But of course, to me, there is nothing better than hearing this song at a college football game. There is nothing more electric than that. The energy that this track brings is pretty unbelievable. So that earns its spot there on this list. Next up, number 463 is Working Man by Rush, released in 1974, and it is the second song of two songs from Rush to make this list. So the last Rush song here, and this is absolutely my favorite song from the band by far, and there is one reason for that, and that would be the guitar. The guitar work here is insane. It is so heavy, it is hard not to love it, and the way that it just carries the track from start to finish is really the reason that it keeps me engaged and interested. I love the guitar here, and then the vocals are great too. I think it matches the energy really well, but truly nothing on this track to me outshines the guitar work. Number 462 is Believer by Peel Dream Magazine, released in 2025. It is the only song from this band to make the list. Now, this song was released on an album that was it was a mini album, really, and it really served as a companion piece to an album that they had released prior, and it was featuring songs and tracks, from my understanding, that were not really a part or didn't make the cut of that album. But I think that's a shame, because this song right here, as well as a lot of the other songs on that mini album, were awesome. Were totally awesome. The psychedelic aspects here, especially on this song, the intro, the psychedelic aspects in this intro are so awesome. It feels like the Zombies or even the Beatles to a certain extent in that sort of classic psychedelic era where things were still coming together for the genre. And I love that sound. The sound of this song to me truly is easily one of my favorite sounds ever. So this was easily one of my favorite songs released last year. And if you're into that sort of psychedelic sound, this would absolutely be a song for you. Number 461 is Dear Mr. Fantasy by Traffic. It was released in 1967 and it is the only song by Traffic to make this list. This is a fantastic prog rock song. It's hard to say. This is a fantastic track, and it builds in such an amazing way that it just had to make this list. I mean, the guitar is so wildly good, and the riffs that are played are just incredible. And the entire production, I mean, there is so much going on in this track. You could listen to it 10 times in a row and find something different every single time. Don't ask me when I found out that it was Steve Winwood on the vocals, but I think that makes the quality of this track make even more sense. This is a fantastic one. Next up, number 460 is Rock the Casbah by The Clash, released in 1982 and the only song from The Clash to make this list. This is an absolutely iconic punk rock song that, in a lot of ways, helped inspire a lot of what I listen to today. So for that reason, of course, I absolutely adore this song and appreciate it, and I just enjoy listening to it as well. Now, a few years ago, I think it would have been much higher on this list than it is now, and if I look back at the first time that I did my top 500, if I had to guess, this would be a good deal higher, but it just didn't land that way this time. I just don't listen to it as much as I used to. But when it comes on occasion, I'll let it play, and of course, I just appreciate a lot of what it did, as well as just this album and the band as a whole, what they did for songs and music that I really, really enjoy now. There's a lot of influence there that's hard to ignore. Number 459 is Root of All Evil by Daniel Caesar, released in 2025, so last year. It is one of two songs on this list to make it from Caesar. Look, this stripped down acoustic track was easily one of my favorite songs of last year. I think Caesar's voice suits the song so incredibly well that it's hard not to like. It's a little raw, like in the themes and the topics that he's exploring. I mean, there's some really raw aspects to it, which I can absolutely appreciate. And then the production, it kind of ebbs and flows with him depending on what he's talking about, which is super cool. If you're kind of listening, it's almost like this internal battle that's happening as well as external. And the production moves either which way with Caesar as he's working through that battle. So that's pretty cool to me. At the end, there's a sitar that comes in, and I just love that. So altogether, this is a really, really nice listen. I think it's easily a song that could be higher on this list in a few years, and it's one that I just really enjoyed last year. It's one I still listen to now. Number 458 is Some Nights by Fun. It was released in 2012, and it is the second of 2 songs from Fun to make this list. The vocal intro to this song is unbelievable, and like the other Fun song to make the list, Last Video, this is an iconic radio pop song from that early 2010s era that you couldn't get away from if you were there for it. And at the end of the day, I was okay with that. When the drums come in after the vocal intro, it's got such a good energy that it's hard not to like. So all the way through, this song is great. Number 457 is Ages by The Hunts, released in 2015, and the only song from the band to make this list. This song was on heavy rotation for me during probably late middle school, early high school, which is probably why it's as low as it is. But it's also what I would consider to be one of the earliest indie, probably just indie period, but one of the earliest definitely indie folk bands and songs that I had really come in contact with. I saw them live at a youth camp, just happened to see them and listen to their music for a bit. And this was the song that I really, really attached myself to. And even to this day, I think it really holds up. There's some really, really great vocal work and harmonies, especially as a duet. There's some really awesome harmonies that are done and some great like folky builds with all sorts of instruments and things. So it's a really neat listen. Of course, it comes from an era that most of us would probably rather not think about, so it's lower on this list for me than maybe it would have been otherwise. Number 456 is Rooster by Mac DeMarco, released last year, and it is the second of 2 songs from DeMarco to make the list. We just talked about the first one, but Rooster's the second one. I definitely expected more to come out of this album last year when I was listening to things and trying out new records and new artists and people I'd never really gotten into before. I expected a lot from this record. In some ways it disappointed, in some ways it didn't though. I think coming in with my expectations helped me appreciate it a little more. But this song is easily a standout on the album to me. It's super simple, which I absolutely appreciate, but the vocal melody is awesome. It's really awesome, and it's really catchy. But at the end of the day, the simplicity here is absolutely why I love this song so much. Number 455 is Feel It Still by Portugal the Man, released in 2017. It is the only song from Portugal, period, the Man, to make this list. Now listen, I would not have guessed that this song was released in 2017. If you had asked me about 20 minutes ago, I would have said it was probably released in 2012, maybe 2013, maybe 2014. I would have been very wrong. It was released in 2017, which feels super late for me. But regardless, this is absolutely one of my favorite songs from that era, especially when it comes to like alt rock of that era, which I just don't care for. I really do not care for late 2010s alt rock, just generally speaking, but this is one of those out of that genre and time that I really do like. The guitar is super fun, it's really catchy, and at the end of the day, it's just really well produced and well made. I think it got as popular as it did for a really good reason. Number 454 is Cannibal Queen by Miniature Tigers, released in 2008. And it is the second of 2 Miniature Tiger songs to make this list. We just talked about the first one as well. This one is significantly less weird. So from the lead guitar that opens this track to the vocal melodies and to the drums, there's something really, really endearing about this song. Now, if you've never heard this one, it's got a title that is weird. Cannibal Queen seems a little weird, and you would be right to think that. I was right to think that when I first listened. So you're probably expecting something entirely different than what it actually is, if you haven't heard this one before at least. Now, if you haven't heard it, go give it a listen. It's great. There's a really subtle like synth that comes in. Eventually it's a little louder. The guitar solo is unbelievable. The harmonies with the vocals that occur throughout create something really, really special and really fun. And as I'm sitting here writing this script and thinking about this video and this list, I almost moved this one up much higher than where it ended up today, because just thinking about it, I really do love this song. But it's here. I'm sticking with it. Maybe I should have put it a little higher. Number 453 is 5 Years Time by Noah and the Whale, It was released in 2008. It's the only Noah and the Whale song to hit this list. If you saw my last video, then you would know, generally speaking, how I feel about songs that want me to feel good or be in a good mood. You would know that I typically don't like those. But this is another exception to that rule. I do think this song falls under that category. I think it wants you to feel good. I think it wants you to be chipper, and it works for me. I mean, it feels really tropical. It feels really warm. There's this subtle build as more elements are added in, the other vocals and the drums, and look, it does its job. It puts me in a good mood when I listen to this one, truly. Number 452 is Moonlight Feels Right by Starbuck. Not Starbucks, it is just Starbuck. It was released in 1975. It is the only song from Starbuck to make this list. Now look, this is a weird song. This is a weird song. It's got weird vocals. It's got weird synth. It's got weird lyrics. It is definitely a product of its time. You can feel for sure that it's from the 70s, but it's nostalgic to me. I remember liking this song when I was younger, even though it was weird. There are some songs I like that are weird. It's nostalgic for me. That's why it's here. It's kind of strange, but I enjoy it. Number 451, and the last track on this video today, is going to be You Always Hurt the One You Love by the Mills Brothers. Their version was originally released in 1944, although they did do a re-release, I think in 58, maybe. I'll fact check myself on that, but it is one of one song to make the list from the Mills Brothers. Now look, this song almost feels a little backwards to me. Maybe I'm not the only one here. I was looking online and some people seem to vibe with it. I don't know, this song feels a little backwards to me, right? Like the premise of, you always hurt the one you love. Like, do I? Or if I broke somebody's heart, it's because I love them most of all. Like, is that true? I don't know. And every time I listen to the song, that is what's going through my mind is, are these things true? Or is it just like an easy cop-out? Like, do I just, I hurt you because I love you most of all. See, that feels like a cop-out to me. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. To me, it feels like a cop-out. Maybe I'm misreading it. But regardless, this song is a really good one. The Mills Brothers' take on it is the most popular one, and I think there's a reason for it. It's very simple, but the vocals are great. I mean, the really fantastic jazz harmonies going here are really, really cool. And the things that they're doing with just their vocals really leading the song are super, super cool. The vocals and that acoustic guitar, maybe a ukulele, I don't know, probably a guitar, but it's a really, really enjoyable listen. So give it a listen if you haven't. And again, let me know what your thoughts are on the premise. I don't know if I vibe with it, but anyway. So that wraps up this stretch of the list. We got another 25 songs down. If you are keeping up to date with one of my playlists, like my Spotify playlist, that'll be updated a little while after the video is released. If you want to check those out, they are down in the description below. Feel free to, as well as the links to my other socials. Check me out on Instagram and TikTok if you haven't already. Drop a follow there. I'm always posting stuff there, like things I'm listening to or albums I think you should be listening to. So give that a look if you're interested in on that. I'll put those here as well as the links below. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you like and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next part. And of course, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Are the Mills Brothers weird, or am I weird? Were any of these songs too low or too high? And also let me know, what are you really hoping makes the list? I would love to hear from you guys. At the end of the day, let me know what you're thinking. We will see you next time.